What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and they passed it. Absolutely incredible. These sort of things happen while I'm out of town. Take a look at this clip really quick.
On this vote, the yeas are 72 and the nays are 23. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn having voted in the affirmative. The motion is agreed to.
So there you saw the Senate passing the government spending bill, and it was without Joe Manchin's permitting deal. That is right. Now, I just shared with you yesterday. If you missed the video, check it out. We had heard from Joe Manchin over the weekend. They were calling him out. And right now, nobody is happy with him. Democrats are very upset at him because he passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which was the reconciliation bill with no stimulus provisions. They literally stripped out all the stimulus provisions because Joe Manchin said he would not get on board. And then when he finally did pass it, word got out he only passed it because he made a side deal with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to get some additional energy permitting that he wanted for his state alone and to benefit them only. So Democrats said, we will not support your side deal. But in addition to that, Republicans were very upset with him because Republicans were happy that he was not promoting Democratic agenda items in the reconciliation bill. And when he flip-flopped his stance from not supporting it to then supporting it at the last minute, Republicans are now furious with him as well. Take a look at these headlines, you guys, as they just passed this yesterday. Senate takes a key vote to advance the government funding after Manchin drops his plan amid GOP backlash. So didn't get support from Democrats and then wouldn't get support from Republicans either. And take a look at this. Why Manchin backed off his top priority, facing the apparent limits of the leverage that he had after 20 months of exerting it, saying he was imposing his will on everybody in a 50-50 Senate. The West Virginia centrist strategically retreated on energy permitting now that the tables have turned and he's asking people to support him and nobody's willing to do it. Man, let me know your thoughts, you guys. So they passed this procedural vote. It's not official in the Senate. We're going to be seeing what's going to be happening. If we do not get this through, there will be a government shutdown. But they've stripped out Joe Manchin's side deal. Now, they're going to be discussing this, reconciliation, inflation, the debt in this video clip I have from Fox Business News. You're not going to want to miss it. They're going to be talking about Joe Manchin. And also, we'll be seeing what else unfolds because also at their disposal, you're going to hear them talk about executive actions by the president and how he can go ahead and do forgiveness of student loan debt, which initially we had heard would be $300 billion of additional debt, as much as $500 billion we're hearing some reports on. And you guys, this is not reallocating existing funds. This is new spending. This could be an issue and could be challenged, but we will see. They're going to be discussing all this in this video clip. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, also wanted to mention, yes, new background. If you missed my video yesterday, the family and I are actually in Las Vegas. As many of you know, I'm a real estate investor, entrepreneur, business owner. I'm here at a convention, a conference for real estate. So I'm going to be doing the conference, spending time with the family, and getting you up to date here on the channel, making sure that you guys know about everything taking place. So if you appreciate that, do me a quick favor. Don't forget, smash that like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much, you guys. Leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, this is your first time here by chance, it's totally free. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Don't fall for the scammers here on YouTube that take my picture and tell you to contact them on WhatsApp in the comments. I don't have a WhatsApp. It's not me, you guys. Also, second channel, Steve Ram Finance, is going to keep you up to date on the real estate market, inflation, and a recession, the economy on that channel, hoping to help people with personal finance and growing wealth. If you're interested, consider joining. Also, if you want access to the comprehensive list of every stimulus check in the nation, www.reliefroadmap.com. I personally spent 3 months every single day researching every check in the nation for states, cities, counties, their websites, their phone numbers, email addresses, contact information, application forms, all in one place, easy to access from your phone, your tablet, or your computer if you are interested. And also, though, information here on the channel. But with that being said, you guys, let's take a look at this video footage. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Welcome back. The Senate advancing its budget bill last night after Senator Joe Manchin abandoned his domestic energy permitting plan. His bill was dropped from the budget in order to avert a government shutdown. People weren't voting on it. Manchin's plan would have green-lit a pipeline in West Virginia, but critics said it would have also pushed the U.S. faster toward green energy and jeopardized energy independence. Joining us right now is Texas Congressman Jody Arrington, a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What happens when this bill makes its way over to the House?
Well, I hope Republicans will reject it. I think Manchin, first of all, outsmarted himself in the negotiations with his colleagues and probably put too much confidence in Chuck Schumer. But in terms of Republicans supporting a CR that adds more spending, I mean, Maria, the first thing we've got to do is stop the spending that has ignited this inflation. I mean, then you've got to look at what they're spending on, what their priorities are. I mean, they didn't get monkeypox and COVID, which were on the list from Joe Biden, but they're funding the FBI and State Department. Remember, the last $40 billion funding for Ukraine went to the State Department. And then you've got monies in there for energy assistance and nothing to get at the underlying problem, which is the whole of government assault by this administration against the fossil fuels industry. There's nothing about supply chains. There's nothing to do with the drug epidemic we're facing. And there's nothing about the root cause of that drug epidemic, which is the flood of drugs coming over our open borders.
Right.
So for all those reasons, I hope Republicans act like Republicans and reject it.
So you'll vote no then?
From what I understand about what's in there, I would vote no every day and twice on Sunday, as they say.
Well, I mean, it leads me to your op-ed, because you've got a recent Fox News op-ed, and you write, if Republicans take House, here's how they can solve U.S. debt and budget problems. You write this, quote, if we fail to prioritize fiscal reforms and continue politics as usual, Congress will eventually bankrupt the greatest country in human history. Tell us more. I mean, we're talking about what, $30+ trillion in debt, 40-year high inflation, and your colleagues on the left want to do more spending, and that is coming in the form of a rail agreement, I guess, after the midterm elections as well.
Yeah, the Democrats under this president and single party rule have spent almost $5 trillion over the last 2 years. And CBO projects, and I think it's a conservative projection, that we'll add $16 trillion to the national debt, half of which is interest payments. We're almost at $500 billion in interest payments. As interest rates go up, we will be paying more on interest just to service the debt than all of national defense in less than 10 years. So to say this is an unsustainable path is an understatement. And Republicans have an historic opportunity. I think the window's closing. I think the debt crisis looms large on the horizon. And we've got to demonstrate to ourselves, to our own party and voters and voting base, that we can restore fiscal responsibility, rein in the spending, enforce budget controls like pay-fors and spending caps. You know, the 10-year spending cap is expired. There are no guardrails on spending going forward. These are the things that Republicans have to prioritize, or we'll find ourselves, Maria, in a crisis far worse than COVID, where we can't print enough money or borrow enough money to get out of the crisis.
Here's Brian Brenberg.
Congressman, I appreciate all that, but you've got a president who just with the stroke of a pen decided to give away $500 billion for a student loan handout. Even if Congress gets religion on spending, the president has the ability apparently to just continue to do things like this. How do you rein that in, Congressman?
Well, unfortunately, but I guess on the other side, fortunately, the last line of defense has been a newly appointed court. The federal judiciary has turned over at least half of them under the Trump administration. And so far, I'm very pleased with their decisions. And I think this will be another decision where they slap President Biden's hand as for overreaching and doing something that was unconstitutional, which is erasing an asset on our books and making it a liability just with the stroke of a pen. So I don't think that's going to play out. Fortunately, that's a disaster for sure. But look, we can stop the spending on day one. The Democrats have obsessed for the last 2 years over January 6th and how they can tax the American people and our competitiveness and spend us into oblivion. It went from about $3.5 trillion in the Build Back broke to $500 billion. So Republicans can, at a minimum, stop the spend, but then I think there's a whole lot more we've got to do to rein to rein this out of
Yeah,
control.
well,
and
the White House is not listening to the Committee for a Responsible Budget. They're not listening to the CBO, which yesterday said that the bailout is going to cost $420 billion. So we'll be watching all of that. The Committee for a Responsible Budget and the CBO confirms it's too expensive, Congressman. Good to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
There you have it, you guys. Now let me know your thoughts. Are they going to be getting this done in the Senate? Are we going to be seeing a government shutdown? Are they going to be passing more provisions? You heard them mention with a stroke of a pen, he can do executive actions. They might get challenged, but what if he does it correctly through reallocation and it is deemed ethical and lawful? Could we potentially see more stimulus provisions through executive actions? I think the answer to that is yes. But are they going to be doing it before the midterm elections? We've heard that stimulus checks have the #1 top approval more than any other provision in the nation. 80% of the U.S. population say, I don't want to see more inflation, but if they sent me a fourth stimulus check of $2,000, yeah, I would take it. And we're hearing that it also was the #1 provision to help fight poverty as we enter into a recession. And we heard a recession was likely going to be the #1 reason why we could see another stimulus check. So we will see you guys. I will keep you up to date here on the channel, but that is the latest coming out as the Senate has passed this procedural vote for the budget bill, which has been stripped of Senator Joe Manchin's additional permitting. So we will see. I'll keep you guys up to date, but that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope that you and the family are blessed. I'm going to spend some time with the family, go to the conference, and then if any other news comes out, I'll be sure to let you guys know here on the channel. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.